Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I'm doing a reading week in my life. I thought it would be really fun to take you guys along with what type of books I'm reading throughout the week and kind of what the pace is. I would say this one is a pretty low reading week in terms of how many books I read in general, just because it depends more on the genre. I tried to really switch it up because I wanted to push myself since I'm filming to like read books that I've been meaning to read but I just haven't gotten a chance to, or I just like haven't really gravitated towards picking up. So this is just going to be a reading week in my life and a vlog of a couple of books that I've read. I really hope you guys enjoy this video and let's go ahead and jump right into it. Hi guys, so I am currently reading Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I picked this up at the end of last year and I don't really know anything about it except for the fact that a lot of people really love it, and I think it's a like mystery thriller, I think, which I don't typically read but I'm trying to get more into this year. I just barely started it. I'm about 40 pages in and I am really liking this. I didn't read the back. I just picked this up because I knew a lot of people really liked it. But basically it's about this couple and they're kind of having a rough time in their marriage, and he is a screenwriter, like a screenplay writer, and she works at like a dog shelter, and he has prognosponia, I believe it's how it's said. Something like that. That's what it's called. And basically it's like facial blindness. So basically it's written in dual POV in the wife and the husband's point of view. But then there's also these letters that she's written him every year on their anniversary, like their wedding anniversary, that are kind of adding like nuances to the story and stuff like that. It's really good so far. And I think it's super interesting because the first chapter is narrated by Amelia, and I feel like when you read the first chapter, you're automatically pro her. You think like he's the one that's like not really giving a shit about the relationship and stuff like that. But then when you read his point of view, my perceptions like completely switched, and I'm like, oh my god, she nags him so much, like she's so annoying, like blah blah. Like I feel like the author is doing a really good job of making you toy back and forth between the two POVs, because I've read a couple of chapters in each POV, and each time I read it I'm like, ew, I hate him, ew, I hate her. And so I think that's really fun. And what's really interesting is I'm reading the like interspersed are the letters that she writes them, and those are the chapters that are titled like Rock, Paper, Scissors. And these are super interesting because I feel like it's almost a completely different person that's writing these letters than the one that's telling her POV, which I really like. The other thing that I find interesting is in her letters, I feel like she is not very nice, or she's not very kind to her husband, but I feel like she loves him, if that makes sense. I feel like she's very critical. She kind of like nags. I feel like she nitpicks a lot of things, and this is coming from her letters, not like his point of view. I feel like she does a lot of those things, just like some of the comments that she makes. For example, like, your job seems to involve a lot of time daydreaming, and then she strikes that out and then says staring at your laptop and occasionally tapping the keyboard, right? Like that's not somebody that actually really admires his work would say, or admires her significant other's work would say. Like she also says, like she says a lot of things, like she comments on how she thinks he's very attractive, how she loves him and stuff like that. So I do think that she loves him, but I think her personality is very bizarre. I'm super interested to see kind of what happens from here, so I'm gonna keep reading. But that's my initial impressions, thoughts, updates on Rock, Paper, Scissors, and then let's get back to reading because I'm so excited. Dude, I knew it. what's going on. I'm so confused. I'm about 200 pages in and I just want some answers. I feel like right now it's like really convoluted, and I don't know if that's just this author's style. Hi guys, I'm back and I have finished Rock, Paper, Scissors. So I wanted to give my final thoughts on this so far. I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was really good. I finished it in one day, just a few hours. I sat and I read the whole thing. It's very fast paced. It's a really good book. I finished it yesterday and now it's the next day because I wanted some time to think on it. And I think this book is going to be a 3.5 for me. Mostly because I have not really thought of it since I finished it, unless I was like, okay, let's think about what we want to read this book. So for that reason, I would give it a 3.5. I thought a 3 was a little bit low, but it's definitely not like a 4-star or 5-star, because 4 and 5 stars are kind of like what I rate my favorite books. And I don't think that this would be up there with it. While it was very good, I just didn't think it was memorable. I knew there was a plot twist coming, but I almost kind of feel like the plot twist was crazy, but since I knew that there was going to be a crazy plot twist coming, when the plot twist happened, it kind of wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. Obviously, you'll like hear my predictions in the previous clips, and it's not exactly what I predicted, but you know, there's similarities like kind of on the same lines. And I feel like if I can predict something similar to that extent, then I don't think it's like quite as crazy of a plot twist as I had anticipated. With that being said, I would read more books by her. I really liked her writing. I enjoyed how fast-paced these like mystery thrillers were. In addition, I really think I want to get more into this genre in general, because I forgot, since I read a lot of like fantasy and romance and that sort of genre, that these books are so much easier to read and quicker to read because there's no world building, there's no setup in that sort of sense, and that made this like so easy to get through. It's very easy to understand, essentially. I also very much really liked the way the book was written, and in the fact that it was Amelia's point of view, Adam's point of view, these letters coming in that you think are from Amelia, but they're not. And I didn't really think about it until obviously after, but I really enjoyed how she signs them, your wife. So the plot twist, like I said, it was crazy, but I like that type of stuff you don't really pick up. And then also the ending, this one had kind of like a dual plot twist, which was so interesting. Like the ending with Adam was also really crazy. And I think it's really cool because I was really rooting for him throughout the whole story, because I felt like he was the one that I really was rooting for. And at the end, it kind of really changed what my thoughts were, which I really liked. I will say I'm still kind of confused by this book. It's not, I think, like I read it and I know what happened, but I'm like, do I know what happened? Like I'm a little bit confused. I did really enjoy it. I would really recommend it. So read it. Next book I'm going to try and read now is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I really like this author. I know that a lot of people really love this book. I believe it falls under the literary fiction genre, so that should be really fun just to kind of have a switch up from the mystery thriller. Basically, all I know is this book is about this girl who is like a tennis star, or like a retired tennis star, and I think she tries to get back into it. That's kind of what I know about the extent of this book. I'm really looking forward to it for a multitude of reasons. I really like the author, A. B, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I used to play varsity tennis, so that's gonna be fun for me to like read this. And C, The Bachelor, Joey, is a pro tennis star, and I'm loving him. He's so hot, and I'm gonna feel like connected to him while reading this book, which is what I want. So yeah, this is gonna be the next book that I read, and I will keep you guys posted as I get through it, what I think about it. noticing that I have serious impulse control problems because I had like 30 minutes to burn before I'm meeting my friend. I just finished work, but the class I'm teaching ended a little bit early, so I had like 30 minutes to burn. So I was telling myself that I'll go to Taco Bell, which that itself was an impulse decision, but at least my justification for that was that I'm hungry, and although I am trying to go to the gym and be healthy, oh my gosh, at least like I was like, you know, feeding myself or whatever. So that was my original justification. Okay, that was a horrible angle. Then I was like, let me go to Taco Bell, and right outside Taco Bell was Target, and I really had to pee. And I feel, okay, don't fall. I feel like I actually had to pee when I was teaching my class, but one of my colleagues was like walking out, and I didn't want to be like, can you wait for me so I could pee? Because I have problems, I guess. So I just, okay, why isn't this standing? Maybe I'll just hold you. So then I was like, okay, let me just, you know, go into Target and pee because it's right next to the Taco Bell. And so I went into the Target to pee, and then when I was in the Target, I was like, oh my gosh, I need a hair mask because I just ran out of mine. Also, I don't know how people make this look back thing look good. It does not look good on me, but whatever. I was like, I need a hair mask. So then I went into the hair mask section, and then this Target that I went to, this little culprit right there, was a really nice Target, like very well organized. Nothing was out of place, very well stocked. I don't know if it's because I came in on a Tuesday or what. And lo and behold, you know what's opposite the fucking hair mask section? I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a singular hint based on, okay, why isn't this? I'll give you, there, you didn't need a hint. Here it is. Girl, what was I thinking? Let me show you the books that I bought because I feel like it further exemplifies why I have a serious problem. I bought the second book in the Throne of Glass series. Did I read the first Throne of Glass book, you ask? No, I did not, but I did buy it a week ago when I wasn't supposed to buy anything. So I did buy it, and in my head I was like, I know I'm gonna like the series because my best friend likes the series, and so it's fine. But in my head I was like, it's 20% off, you know? So like, I bought it. Then I bought Ruthless Vows, except, did I read the first one, Divine Rivals? No, again, I didn't. Did I buy it though? Yes, and I do own it. So again, I was like, okay, well, I know I'm gonna like this. And again, it was 20% off, and it was a hardcover. So I bought this. Problem. And then I don't even know what the fuck happened with this, because I just saw this and I was so mesmerized by the cover, and I think she reads The Mortal Instruments, which I also have not read. But I know that people really like her, and so what did I do? I bought this. Girl, what was I thinking? What I was thinking was, this is a thick book and it's 30% off. That's what I was thinking. I just don't even know what just happened in there. This is so pretty though. Anyways, that was my update for this vlog. I am now going to get Taco Bell. So again, spending money. That's all I got for you. I have made progress since I last updated on Carrie Soto. So at least we have that going for us. But that's another book. Like, why did I just buy 3 books when I have, oh my god. But low-key, $12 for Ruthless Vows, low-key 8. Alright. There's a person in the car next to me, so I'm gonna leave now. Time to get Taco Bell. See you there. But I'm about 130 pages in, and I am loving this book just as expected. As usual, Taylor Jenkins Reid, I just really like her writing. I think that I just gravitate towards it. It's so easy to read, really fast paced, and she just has something about her writing that's very direct, so it makes me just like hooked in. And there's not a lot of, since it's like literary fiction and like real worlds, there's not a lot of fluff that goes into it, and I am loving this book so far. I actually think that I am getting through this a lot faster and enjoying this more than I enjoyed Daisy Jones and the Six, which I really enjoyed that book. I've also read One True Loves and I liked it, but I think that this is definitely, so far at least, my favorite TJR book, which is amazing. And I have really enjoyed the way that she's written this book. I feel like her style of writing in this is so immersive. Like when she talks about playing the matches, I genuinely feel like I'm not even a spectator actually, but I genuinely feel like I am Carrie and I'm like in her brain and like my heart is pounding and like can't wait to see what happens next. I'm like genuinely torn with the idea of like, do I think it's going to be a plot twist and she loses and she doesn't achieve her goal, or because I feel like that would be a plot twist, but I genuinely don't want that to happen to her, which is crazy because, you know, she's not very likable. I don't think she's a really likable character, but I still don't want that for her. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of like what happens. So I will keep reading and keep you posted. I think it's really interesting to see how Javier's relationship with Carrie being a pro tennis player changes as time goes on. You know, like I feel like it seemed like he just really wanted her to win, and then you get more into the story and she gets more into winning, and then you see like he just wants her to be the greatest, but not by accolades, by skill and by level, which I feel like is such a parental way of thinking. Like my mom always has said, you know, you have to be the best that you can be and the best that you can play for yourself. It's about achieving your maximum potential. And I think it's really interesting. I think it's really sweet when you see this part. It's just that this is the part I missed the most, me and you in the tunnel. So I feel like when I first started this book, I thought that Javier was one of those like stage or like sports dads, stage dads, you know, like tiger dads type that just want their kid to be there to win and everything like that. But I feel like it was more about his love for tennis that he wanted to instill in his daughter. And I think he probably got caught up in the loss of his wife and that whole thing. But now you see that it's just more to spend time with his daughter, which is so sweet. But now she's the one that's like going really far and stuff. But I gotta say, I'm like so rooting for her. I know she's so unlikable, but I'm so rooting for her. I really hope that she wins. like this is why I really enjoy Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing. For example, this is literally a sports literary fiction about one of the best tennis players of all time and how she's known as like this battle axe, and she's super competitive. And I like that the story isn't that she's actually like super sensitive and like trying to prove that that's not who she is in the tabloids. That's not what this book is, which I really liked, because that is who she is. While there's more depth to her, there's more depth to everybody, but it's not about disproving the tabloids. It's about living up to the name that they give you, which I think is so interesting. But in the midst of all that, she adds quotes that I think are just so good. For example, this one here that says, "My older self knows that you must stop in the middle of the chaos to take in the world around you. To breathe in deeply, smell the sunscreen and the rubber of the ball, let the breeze blow across your neck and feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. In this respect, I love the way the world has aged me." And I just love that, because this entire book is basically about nobody thinks that she can do it because she's old now. And her too, she's like, I'm old now, but she's never like, I'm washed up. She's like, I'm old, I need to get back to where I am. But I feel like she doesn't ever fight the fact that she's old. And quotes like this show that. So I just finished Carrie Soto is Back, and I have some thoughts. I really loved this book. I thought this was going to be a 5-star read for me, but I think it's a 4.75. Solely because I feel like I understand what was trying to happen with the ending, and I understand why the ending was the way that it was. But at the end of the day, this is a spoiler full vlog, but I wanted her to win. And I feel like setting up, because here's the thing, is that I know that the whole point was to get her to learn that you just need to enjoy playing tennis. But I wanted it to be that she realizes that, and that she wins. Like, that's what gets her to win, is just liking it. And that's not what happened, right? So because of that, it's just not the ending that I would have wanted. So I feel like it's a 4.75. However, it was a fantastic book. I ate this up. I would recommend this to anybody that reads this, and it was so good. But to me, a 5-star book is something that I wouldn't change anything about, and I would change that about this book. Loved it. I don't know how she writes like this, but it was just so, I was there. Like, I was there, and it was just so good. So that was my next book for this week. Wowies. So good. Okay, so the next book I'm going to be starting is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, and I'm honestly a little bit nervous to start this book. I actually got this in like a holiday book exchange this past year. One girl sent me this book, and she said that she saw that it was on my TBR, but that she loved and read this book a lot, and it made her really value like her relationship with her mom. So I'm a little bit nervous to read it because I love my mom, obviously, and her and I are very close. So I feel like this is gonna make me super duper sad, and I don't usually cry at books. So I guess that's gonna be a test, I guess, to see kind of like what I think about this. And I think this is a memoir. Hello. So my last update is I finished Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. I actually had a hard time getting into it reading the physical book, but I ended up listening to it on audiobook, and the audiobook is narrated by the author. And I felt like it was way better, and I thought it was way better listening to the audiobook, and I think it's just more so how the author intended it to be read or heard, just because she's the one that's narrating her own story. So I did finish it, because after finishing it, I don't think I would rate it, just because I really understood the fact that this is somebody's story. It's not something that's meant for me to rate. And everything in this book is intentional, because it's talking about her and her relationship with her mom and how she moved on from that loss. So I don't really think it's appropriate for me to be like rating that, because it's somebody's real life experience. However, I would say there was things that I really, really connected with in this book, and there was things that I didn't connect with in this book. But I would say it's definitely worth a read, especially, I just hit myself in the face, but especially if you don't have a great relationship, I would say, like with your parents or with your mom. I am really, really close with my mom and love her to death, obviously. And so like even in that situation, reading this book makes me very appreciative of my mom more than I already am. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to finish off the video talking about the 3 books that I read and what my opinions of them are now that it's been a couple of days and I've had some time to digest the books and the story and what I thought. So we'll start with the first book I read in this vlog, which was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. I would say overall this book is a solid, I think I'm gonna give it a 3, all things said and done now. I think this is really, really good. I remember just like not being able to put it down. I really wanted to know what happened. I was like having a bunch of predictions, but I think, like I said in the vlog clip, it just was a little bit underwhelming at the end, just because I was expecting a plot twist, and I feel like it did have one, I guess, in a sense, but not in a way that was like jaw-dropping or shocking. And that's kind of what I was expecting. And also, since I finished putting this book down, like I don't remember, or not that I don't remember, I haven't thought about this book once. I haven't thought about the characters once or the story. It's like not really impressionable. So I would say it's just a solid 3-star. I would recommend it if you want a thriller. I liked it. I think it's fast paced. It's definitely like a binging type of book. Like you can finish it in like one quick sitting. So that was the first book I read. The next book I read in this video is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I think at the end of the day, my rating for this book would be a 4.5. So just a little bit lower than what I rated it before. With this book, I absolutely loved it. I ate it up. As usual, Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors. She's just so good at what she does. I love the way this book is written, and it's such a standout novel for me. I would like 100% read this again, and it was just so good. And this one, I remember everything that happened, but the way it was written was like you were so immersed in the story that I don't even feel like if I read it again, it would be redundant. It was just so well done. I really, really enjoyed it. The reason that it's not a 5-star for me is, like I said, I wasn't too happy with the ending, like I explained in the clip earlier. And the other thing is this one isn't impressionable for me either. I just like don't remember anything, or like I don't feel like I had a lot of like key takeaways from this book. And like I said, 5 stars, 4.75s are books that I like continuously think about after I put them down. And this one I didn't really. I did for the first couple of days, but not since. So I feel like a 4.5 is a really good solid rating for this. I would really, really recommend it. This was probably my favorite book I read in this vlog. And I recommend anyone watching this video and anybody looking for a book to read in general to read this book. It was just so, so, so well done. Last book I read in this video is Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Now, this one I had a little bit of a hard time getting through, I'm not going to lie, but I'm really glad that I read it. Obviously, I explained my thoughts about rating this in the clip, so I'm not going to rate it. I'm just going to say I definitely recommend reading this. However, I would say it's not as captivating to read, in my opinion. I listened to it in the audiobook narrated by the author, and I think that did a much, much, much better job. I don't know if it's like because it's a memoir, and my particular reading style is one that craves storylines and plot, and this is more of a memoir and it's just a story of somebody's life. So I don't know if it's just me that felt that way. Let me know if you've read this book, how you feel about it. I thought it was an extremely well done memoir. I thought it was so well written. It was so heartwarming, very touching, and I really appreciate Michelle Zauner for sharing her story. I think there was a lot of things that really resonated with me, especially in terms of my relationship to my mom. You know, especially like Asian parents, I think are really similar in the sense of like they show their love through like cooking and stuff like that. And it's just like a lot of things like she brings up are things that you don't even, you know, think about when you're younger. And I feel myself reflecting similarly to how she reflects now at my age. And, you know, I'm not like super old, I'm only 24, but thinking about how I acted when I was like 16, especially towards my mom, is like things that I think everyone goes through. So I don't really blame myself in a negative way, but I also just think it's so foolish because at the time, you know, I feel like sometimes it just feels like your mom's like your biggest enemy, but she's not. She's like your biggest fan, obviously, and everything that she does is to like look out for you. And I definitely realize that now before I read this book. But if you don't have that mindset, or if you just need a reminder, it was just so well written. I didn't cry. I expected myself to cry. I didn't cry. But it was just really well done. I really appreciate her and her bravery and courage for sharing her story. And it was obviously it was really touching, I would say, overall. Yeah, so those are the 3 books that I read in this video. I would say they were overall pretty successful. I enjoyed all 3 of them. However, I didn't think any of them were like really standouts. I would say my favorite book of the 3 is Carrie Soto is Back. So if you had to pick one from this video to read, it would be that one. But that concludes my reading week of my life. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me read these, and let me know if you have read them, what your thoughts are. And thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.